Do you still feel like you're not good enough in your area despite years of practice? Are you terrified of someone calling you out as unqualified to do the job? And is that the reason why you're constantly delaying your blog, your business, or a part of your life? If you answered yes to one or all of these questions, this video might help. In this video, I'll share some of the ways you could try to stop quitting on yourself, regain your confidence, build your authority, and have people coming to you and saying thank you. And my dear friend, we're gonna take a look at why you don't feel ready and how to fix it. Let's start. So let me ask you this, are you an expert in your field? And if you have some resistance towards saying, yeah, of course, first of all, let me tell you, this is very natural. And there can be an immense variety of reasons why you might feel this way, starting from the fact that it might have been unacceptable in your culture, or your family valued being humble above all. But as you know, I love to take a deep dive and examine the psychological reasons behind the behavior. So psychology tells us that we, as people of the 21st century, have two primary fears. I'm not enough, and I won't be loved. And somehow referring to yourself as an expert is a threat in both dimensions. No wonder we're avoiding it. But let's see how you can improve how you feel. And of course, before jumping to any remedies, we should be on the same page regarding the meaning of the key concept. So who's an expert? What do you think? Oxford Dictionary suggests that an expert is a person who is very knowledgeable about or skillful in a particular area. And I dare to disagree with the definition of this word, and here's why. Our education system basically teaches us that the more you know, the more you learn, the more potential in life you have. Getting good grades equals being smart and being talented, although in most cases all it takes is learning a paragraph by heart and reproducing it in front of the class. So let me ask you this. Do you believe that learning a lot of things is a prerequisite for success? It used to be 50 years ago, but it's no longer true. Hold on a minute. Before you leave a comment you'll regret, let me explain. I'm not saying we should give up studying altogether, but realistically speaking, knowledge used to be very expensive. 50 years ago, if you had to find an answer to a specific question in your field, you had to go to a library. You had to spend hours and hours on finding the right research and putting it all together. But in our time, the value of knowledge has plummeted. Now you just type your question into Google search box and you get an answer within 1 minute. Now here's another example. Picture you're a business owner and you have a medium-sized company and you need to hire an CEO. You have two candidates. One of the candidates doesn't have any practical experience managing teams, but he has an MBA. Another candidate doesn't have an MBA, but he has 20 years of practical experience working with people. Who'd you rather hire? You know where I'm getting at, right? The value of academic credentials has decreased. I've recently uploaded a video on different generations and how we use them in marketing. Starting with the millennial generation, the idea of expert has shifted from someone who has academic or professional background to potentially anyone with first-hand experience. Think about it. We no longer believe big corporations or even famous people advertising the brand. We know they're paid for it, and in many cases we even know how much they are paid for it. And we know how these dazzling photo shoots are done. We know how Photoshop works. We know that this is all fake. And unless it's entertaining, personalized, and creative, we are not even ready to pay attention. And we'd rather watch a video from an average YouTube blogger who has first-hand experience with the product, because he's authentic and real. So having said that, let me suggest to you a new definition of the word expert. An expert is someone who's had first-hand experience with the subject, made a massive amount of mistakes, and is constantly improving his or her results. What do you think about it? A little bit less pressure, right? Now that we have a definition, let me offer you another perspective that might change how you feel towards yourself being an expert. Here comes another perspective. I'm very positive you're familiar with it, but I just have to remind you this theory because it's so important. Let me confess, I adore Malcolm Gladwell's books. He's a journalist, a writer, an amazing storyteller. So if you ever see his books, somewhere, just buy it, it's worth your time. In this book, Outliers, he's researching what makes someone successful. And he's looking at a lot of examples of people you know, and we all know. Bill Gates, Beatles, founders of big IT corporations, etc., etc., etc. And as you might have known, he discovered that in order to become an expert in a certain field, in order to succeed in a certain field, you need to put in 10,000 hours of practice in it. And 10,000 hours of practice is actually 3.5 years. So have you been in your field for 3.5 years? Maybe more. Then congratulations, you are an expert. Of course, it's just a theory. It has its limitations. It's not the absolute universal truth, but it makes so much sense because, and here is one of my favorite quotes, practice isn't the thing you do once you're good. It's the thing you do that makes you good. And if you don't have these 10,000 hours invested in what you're doing, the best thing you can do today is invest 8 hours in it. Then tomorrow, another 8 hours. And soon you'll be there. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If this video is useful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and leave the comment below. That's a great way to say thank you. Another reason you might have a lot of doubt in you being an expert is because you're sitting alone in your room and trying to figure out what it takes to be an expert and what kind of value you can deliver to people. When there is no connection to the real people who can benefit from your experience and knowledge in the topic right here, right now, the value you deliver becomes really vague and it becomes harder to believe in yourself because this clarity is missing. So I have to tell you something, my friend, and you're not gonna like it. The only way to stop overthinking is just going out there, getting feedback from real people on what their needs are and what kind of products they would buy is exactly the practice that you need. And you don't have to be an expert for this. And if you're really uncomfortable with presenting yourself as an expert, you can just say to yourself and to the world, this is what I love doing. This is what I'm blogging about. This is what I'm researching right now. It's very interesting. Could you please share your opinion on this subject with me? Could you please share, if you would buy this product? Because here's what I need to remind you. When the world sees your passion, they will also recognize you as someone who can provide advice on the topic and who's also an expert in this area. Because we all love people who are passionate about what they're doing. Passion is contagious. It's a magnet. When you see someone who's passionate about what they're doing in their professional area and you can help them, you are able to help them, you are naturally inclined to do so. And yes, sometimes that would mean that you will go out there and you'll admit that you are just a beginner, but you are willing to go the extra mile and you are very interested in learning new things and practicing them. Because that passion in your heart, my friend, is gold. Never underestimate it. It's what makes the difference. I've been struggling with seeing myself as an expert for as long as I can remember, and it was a nightmare. As soon as I convinced myself that I'm actually good and I do have knowledge in this area or topic, something just goes wrong. I screw up, mostly in my head, and I would be ashamed of it and down. And I was holding on to these mistakes. I was punishing myself for past mistakes in the present. And the worst part was that I believed it was the right thing to do, but after years of therapy, I discovered that there was something that I was avoiding. And I was actually avoiding taking myself seriously. So what if from this day on, you start to take yourself seriously? You are an expert, you are a leader, and you have a lot to give to this world. It's really scary, right? Like, what if someone tells me I'm not qualified? How can I respond to emotional challenges of being a leader? But you don't have to answer these questions today. The only thing that you need to do is make the decision of taking yourself seriously, to listen to what you have to say, because the world needs your special gift. If you notice that your self-confidence is a little shaky, I have a 2-week course on my website on how to deal with negative comments. If you've always been dreaming of not giving a damn about what other people say or think about you and your products, but time after time you discover that you do actually care and you do care about the negative feedback people give you, This course will allow you to build that inner foundation of calmness and serenity and focus on what you have to say instead of how it's seen by other people. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to hear from you. Has your perception of yourself changed after this video? How do you feel right now? If this video was useful, please hit like and subscribe. That's the best way for you to say thank you. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.